Hello and welcome back to the Patrick McCoy Sports Show presented by Prospect Apparel. I told you I'm not abandoning this channel just yet. I am joined by another very good friend of mine, Jake Noecker. How you doing, my friend?
Good, man. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate you sticking with me while I prepared and bearing with my USA times. Thanks, bro.
No problem, man. Hey, you're better than others. It's 6:30 for me, so I'm still halfway awake. But
I got you. I got you.
let's get into it, man. There were a lot of title fights this year, a lot of really, really fun ones. There's some title changes. I'm not sure the exact number of title changes, but and we opened the year with a title change. Brandon Moreno taking on Figueiredo for the fourth time, winning by TKO, doctor stoppage. Figgy's eye swelled up like a balloon. What did you think of that event, headlined then by Jamal Hill and Glover Teixeira?
Dude, that was a great one. I mean, 2023, I feel like every year gets a little bit better with cards. I feel like it gets a little bit deeper. Obviously, we're just complaining about Apex. That's true. But I think the fights themselves, the cards themselves, the stakes always grow. So it was the best year of fights yet. And obviously, me and you both covered our first UFC event. So
Yes.
big year in the books. But yeah, man, Hill and Glover. That was crazy because Glover was what, 30 seconds away from winning a decision, and then he taps out to like a half-in rear naked choke.
No, that was
Um,
Yuri. That was Yuri. Careful.
that was Yuri. That was Yuri. Hill absolutely demolished Glover. Never mind. That
Yeah, it
was
was
Yuri Prochazka.
44.
Yeah, no, that was a different fight there. And then yeah, Moreno and Figgy. I mean, look at the year they both had. Figgy's had the better year seemingly.
Yeah, you'd be right on that one. It,
But
it was
yeah, no,
a
I mean,
it was a good event in Brazil. Back in Brazil, the crowd was the thing that ruined it, though. I thought the Brazil crowd was going to be amazing, and they left during the main
they,
event.
they left and booed, man. It was a little bit weird. Like
It was just
Brazil's
because Sao
usually a
Paulo, they also weren't great.
Yeah, the fight vibes in Brazil and like Japan too. They're usually like the best in the world, but no, it was off this year for sure. I don't know if it was because it was like, January 21st or if it was because people were upset that Glover got beat up and Figgy lost. I don't know.
I don't know, man, but the next pay-per-view event, another title fight. Yair Rodriguez defeats Josh Emmett for the interim title via triangle choke. Is, I would say, Yair's best performance of his career. And in the main event, in a lot of people's eyes, a fight of the year candidate, Islam Makhachev versus Alexander Volkanovski won.
Oh, dude. I mean, we'll get into the awards, but yeah, that's easy fight of the year contender. Their first fight was awesome. And then yeah, I mean, Yair absolutely steamrolled Josh Emmett, which is crazy to say considering the weekend Josh Emmett just had last weekend. So I don't know, man. It's nuts just to think about how far or how different the end of the year is to the beginning of the year of a lot of these fighters. It's
100%.
only 365 days, but it's essentially an entire career flip for some of these guys. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, UFC 284 was a bop. Jack Della Maddalena was on that one. Tafa got
Oh,
the
yeah.
big knockout. Great card.
It was a really, really good card. Next up, a big event, the comeback of John Jones, right? He defeats Cyril Gahn by submission guillotine choke in round one. It was kind of, for me, it felt a little bit lackluster. I was hoping for a little bit more. It kind of just ended quick. I remember watching Cyril tap and kind of just being like, oh, okay. I'm going to go to
Right.
bed now at 7 a.m. Fun. Nothing to talk
It's
about.
especially because, the first four fights of that pay-per-view were absolutely insane and they weren't
Hmm.
necessarily super quick, aside from
I mean,
Benico,
Alexa
obviously.
Grasso submitting Valentina Shevchenko the fight before, I was like, okay, now this main event's going to deliver. And
Then you got
yeah,
heavyweights. And they're gonna heavyweight.
yeah. No, I went to bed not super happy that night. I'll say that.
I mean, I was happy because Jones won, but like the same way you felt where it was like, wow, it's already over. Like a fight that big, you want to see go into deep waters, see some blood, see some guts. Now we didn't
I
get any
still
of that.
had
We
half
just
an
saw John
energy
Jones.
drink left. I was like, I shouldn't
I
drink
don't know.
this at this time
Yeah.
now.
Then you're up till 10 a.m. That's no fun.
Yeah, no, that's not fun at all. The next pay-per-view event, unless you have anything else on John Jones and Cyril Gahn,
No, I'll talk more about that card when we get into awards later.
100%. Leon Edwards versus Kamaru Usman in London. It was the first pay-per-view in London in a while. Maybe since Michael Bisping fought Dan Henderson. With that,
Wow.
they
Yeah,
had
they've just been doing
fight
fight
nights. They had
nights.
a lot of fight nights, but I don't think they had a pay-per-view in a while. They haven't had a champion in a while. Leon Edwards now. defeating Kamaru Usman by a majority decision. I think it was a pretty clear win for Leon. What do you think?
Oh yeah, no, that was like Leon's. I mean, Leon's coming out party was probably the head kick, but that was the one on 286. That was the win where I was like, all right, Leon's going to be welterweight champion for probably quite a while. Man, imagine if Leon would have gotten that head kick this year too. Would have been the easiest fighter of the year candidate ever. But no, I
100%.
mean that was 286 was a big card for Leon, man. Showed out at home, showed that he was better than Usman for all 5 rounds. It was very impressive.
Really, really was. The next event, Israel Adesanya. I see the poster from the first fight behind you.
Yep.
Israel Adesanya finally exacts his revenge on Alex Pereira via TKO. Now it's listed as TKO on Wikipedia. It's a
That was
KO.
a
Let's be
knockout.
real. He was out
Out
cold.
cold.
I'm a big Alex Pereira guy, by the way. If you follow my stuff, you know I'm a big Alex Pereira guy. But I mean, that knockout, he kind of pulled him into where Alex wants to be, right? Alex had him up against the cage. He throws his knee and doesn't keep his hand up. And it's like boxing class 101, keep your hand up, right? He gets clocked with the same punch that rocked him in the first fight as well.
Yep.
And Israel capitalizes. Bow and arrow celebration. It was one of the most viral
Oh yeah,
moments
dude.
of the year. Talk to me about that one, man.
That was insane. Izzy getting it back was crazy. I watched that one with my dad. Whenever I watch a main event with my dad, I feel like it always pops off and goes absolutely insane. So
See,
that
for
was
me,
one
it's
of them.
injuries. It's
Ooh,
they
really?
just get hurt. I remember I was so excited about Brian Ortega versus Yair Rodriguez, and
No.
I was like, I got my dad to sit with me. We were like, Dad, I was telling him all about Brian Ortega's submission attempt on Volkanovski, telling him how great of a kicker Yair Rodriguez was. I got him all pumped, and then the arm pops, and he's just like, "Oh, good night." I was like, "Oh."
What a buzzkill, man.
But the
No,
last one to watch, to be fair, he I got him to watch UFC Austin or the prelims for UFC Austin. So he didn't get to see Bobby Green get punched 18 times while he's unconscious. But what he did
oh,
get to see
perfect.
was a slam, right? So he gets the crazy Bellato versus Poteria fight, and then he got the slam knockout, which he was really scared by. He was like, "Oh my god!" Like he didn't even think that was possible. And then they played the video where they no commentary with just the sound of the head
Oh,
th- thudding against the canvas. I mean, that was crazy. And then he goes to bed. Next fight, Cody Brundage does the same exact
same
thing.
thing. Yep.
And
Insane.
I remember I woke up in the morning. I tell my dad, after you guys went to bed, another one of those happened. I went on that night about like when they were still awake, how rare that is a slam
Oh
knockout.
yeah, dude.
And my dad
Only
was like,
two of
"So
the
it's
year,
not
I
that
think.
rare, is it? It's not that rare, is it?" I was like, "It's still pretty rare. It's not going to happen probably for another year."
Yeah, I think those are the only two in the UFC this year, maybe. But
100%. I think they're
yeah,
the only two since Jordan Levitt did it.
Jordan Levitt's is the meanest one ever. Talk about the sound off on that one. Oh my God.
Oh, that one's crazy, man. Um, Getting back to the next event, it's also on the poster behind you. It was the first event you covered this year,
Yes, sir.
or first
UFC
event UFC
288.
event you ever covered, right? Aljamain Sterling defeats Henry Cejudo by a split decision. What was your scorecard in that fight?
I had Aljo. I think, what did they do? At 48-47? Was that the final
Mm-hmm.
score? I think that's what I had it. I think I had Aljo up one
I edged
round.
Aljo as well.
Yeah, I mean, it was a close fight. It could have gone either way, but it was just the control and Aljo fought a smart fight.
He did.
He held Henry when he needed to hold him, and I think everyone, including Henry, was surprised that Henry couldn't out wrestle Aljamain Sterling. So yeah, no, that was all Aljo for me. And then Bilal Muhammad ragdolled Burns. Yan Xiaonan knocked out Andrade, which was absolutely crazy. Diego Lopez had his debut, which was also crazy. Good card, man. Good card.
It was a really, really, really fun card. The next one, according to my list, Amanda Nunes defeats Irene Aldana in Canada. Irina froze in the big moment, man. And we saw in her
Oh
most
yeah.
recent fight how fun she can be. And I was so upset watching that fight. Like, she just didn't have anything. She just froze. But we see in her last fight just this weekend what a warrior she is, how good she really is. And yeah, so Amanda Nunes retires on top with a 50-44.
Yep.
And then, but the co-main event that everyone talks about, Charles Oliveira TKO's Beneil Dariush, who many had as the dark horse in the division at the time.
Hmm.
See, that's exactly what you said about the start of the year versus the end of the year. Now look at it. He's lost 2 fights in a row. People are saying he
Crazy,
should
man.
retire. Like it's crazy. What do you think of that event, man, for Canada?
So I don't know if you remember this, but UFC 289 was being coined as the weakest pay-per-view of the year. Do you remember that?
Hmm. Yeah, I was
And
quoting it.
honestly, it wasn't that great a pay-per-view. But there were moments, like there were
There
moments.
were
But
great moments.
anytime a main event's that one-sided, and it's not even just like it was one-sided. It was like it was one-sided, and Aldana just didn't have the answers. It wasn't like she was getting beat up. It was just she was getting beat. And then even the
Just didn't
co-main
really
event
do much.
lasting, the co-main event lasted hardly even the first round. It was just weird card. But Jazzy Jazz Delicious got the W, so that's a good night for me.
And the next event, Alexandre Pantoja defeats Brandon Moreno via split decision in many people's fight of the year. Um, Incredible fight. And for me, I was I was seeing people say Brandon Moreno won that fight. I can't give it to Brandon Moreno. I'm a big Brandon Moreno guy, but Pantoja won that clearly. While it was close, I think he did win it clearly, and it was a very, very good fight.
Yeah, I had Pantoja winning that all day too. And then but the shocking thing on that card was that was when Duplessis beat up Robert Whitaker, and I
Yeah,
don't think
no,
anybody in the world saw
crazy.
that coming.
No one saw that coming, man. Alexander Volkanovski defeated Yair Rodriguez by TKO on top of that
Great.
card, which that was a really, if you, that's one of my favorite finishing sequences I think I've ever seen. He rocks him, slams him down, gets into mount, and just beats his head into the canvas until the ref pulls him
MMA,
off.
man. MMA to a Q. It's
MMA
beautiful.
was perfect, man.
Yeah, Volk's a
Really,
beast, dude.
Volk is a beast. Next up, Zhang Weili defeats Amanda Lemos by unanimous decision. 50-43 was one
Oh
of the
my
scorecards.
God.
In a record-breaking title fight performance, Zhang Weili, what a fighter.
Dude, Zhang Weili is the fight to make was her and Yan Xiaonan in China. I don't know why the hell UFC didn't make that fight, but no, man, Zhang Weili. I used to hate Zhang Weili because I used to be like a fanboy for Rose, and she came in, and but now I don't know. I really like Zhang Weili. She's awesome. I talked to her a few times. She's a very nice girl, and she's a fucking badass.
100%. I think you summed it up correctly. In the main event, you were also there. I meant to say you were also there. Sean O'Malley defeats Aljamain Sterling via TKO. Sugar
Nutty.
Show is the champion, man. It's the Sugar era now, man. That's crazy. What like a couple years ago, he loses to Cheeto Vera, which is obviously being run back now. Um, gets defeated, knocked out. Everyone's like, okay, there goes the hype. And then he comes back and he fights Thomas Almeida. And I remember the build up to that fight really, really well. And Thomas Almeida opens up the fight with leg kicks, and everyone's like, oh, there we go. Sean
Yep.
O'Malley, he can't take a leg kick. And that's still something people are saying that he can't take a leg kick, which is so crazy to me.
I know it's been years since we've seen that he couldn't. What makes people think he still can't?
And everyone's tried.
Yeah, I mean Pedro Munoz is leg kick king and couldn't do anything with it.
Didn't
So
touch him.
no, O'Malley is he's legit, man, and that was a cool one to see. Like I've never seen a crowd be that one-sided. I felt so bad. Like I don't think Aljo had a
Aljo's an
single fan in
amazing
the building. It was
champion, the
crazy.
most disrespected UFC champion ever, I think.
Easily, easily. And he's a really nice guy too.
He is.
And he's a very good fighter. But yeah, very, very disrespected. But yeah, no, that was second card cover of the year. Trip up to Boston. Good little time. Boston's a clean city, but you motherfuckers can't drive for shit. You missed UFC 291, Patty.
Why did that disappear off my list?
I don't know, but that was in Miami. That was Poirier and Gaethje for the BMF.
Oh my god, that's literally my knockout of the year.
Yeah, me
It's
too.
UFC 291. Poirier knocks Gaethje, or sorry, Gaethje knocks Poirier out cold with a head kick. That was crazy, man.
Yeah, and then
That
that
was
was
in Utah, by the way, not
Pereira.
Miami. No, I
Oh, that was
remember.
that. Where was that one?
Utah.
Utah, Salt Lake City, Head Kick City. That's right. That was did you agree with the Pereira Jan Blachowicz? Whatever Jan scorecards? I
Blahovic.
don't know.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes,
Yeah,
I thought Pereira won that fight.
I also did, but I
The
remember that
body
was
language of Blahovic in the third round, I think,
you can
really
say that
affected
so
him.
nice. Blahovic.
Blachowicz.
That was good, right? That was good, right?
I don't live far from Poland, so that's
I do. But yeah, no, 291 was banging, 292 was banging. Yeah, I don't know, man. Every pay-per-view this year's been pretty banging so far.
it's been pretty good. I don't know why that didn't come up on my list. Um, yeah, no, because I screenshotted Wikipedia. That's the thing. So I have it on my phone. It just didn't pop up as one of the fights.
They skipped 291. Maybe it wasn't that good.
That
Maybe it
was
was
one of
not
the
worth
events of the
mentioning.
year as well. That's the thing.
It was a very good card. Yeah, I remember every time they go to Salt Lake City, it's a banging card.
It is. The next pay per view after Sean O'Malley defeated Aljamain Sterling, the upset of the year. I remember. So
Oh,
if you
easy.
don't know, I was at UFC Paris.
Hmm.
I know you know because I blew your messages up, but I was at
We
UFC
talked before.
Paris with Oscar Willis, who is a big fan of Adesanya. They're good friends. I remember we were talking. We're like, can there be an upset bigger than Duplessis versus Whitaker? And we're like, no. And I said to him, how much of a chance do you give Sean Strickland? And he said, not much. And I'm a big Sean Strickland guy. I didn't think he was going to win that fight. Coming off of the big knockout, I thought Adesanya, okay, now he's back on top. Pereira's out of the division. Now he's the big dog in the yard once again.
Hmm.
Strickland dominated him. It wasn't like he edged out
Oh yeah.
as a tiny little split decision. No, he played with him 49-46, knocks him down in the first round, and just dominates him throughout the whole fight.
Yeah, Sean Strickland, he like showed me who he really was in that fight. I mean, I don't know if obviously he got finished by Pereira, he got caught, but he's not. I don't think anybody's going to be able to put him to sleep. I think Sean Strickland is just a tough dude who's going to be a tough fight for literally anybody. I just think that's his style. It's a tough fight for no matter who you are. And yeah, the way he put it on Izzy, no one saw that coming, and I still really can't believe it. That's insane. He outstruck the best striker in the world with a Philly boxing shell. Nonsense.
It's crazy, man. The next title fight was on a fight night, which is the first time we've seen that in a while. Alexa
Yeah.
Grasso versus Valentina Shevchenko goes to a split draw. How do you see that one, man?
That was one of the worst decisions ever.
Okay.
And I don't remember the exact numbers, and it's not a robbery per se, but I remember Shevchenko was up on the scorecards, and then that fifth round, which she clearly won. I think everyone thought Valentina won the fifth round. The judges gave it that was the 10-10 round, or was it a 10-8? I don't remember exactly how it went down.
Something like
I just
that, yeah.
remember it was a robbery in the sense that Shevchenko should have won or Grasso should have won. There was no reason for it to be
Yeah,
a
I remember
draw.
it being a very close fight.
It was a very close fight, but I just remember the scorecards for the draw. That's what it was. Both judges had Shevchenko winning round 3 or 5. One of the judges gave it to Grasso, which made no sense at all, and that's what caused the fight to be a draw. So like, should have been a Val win, but I remember everyone saying nobody would have been upset if it was a Grasso win. Everybody was just upset because it was a draw because the scorecard math made no sense.
For me, a draw feels like the title goes vacant at that point.
It should.
I
It should.
think that would be interesting. I don't know if you saw, but Zhang Wei Li called out Alexa Grasso, and Alexa Grasso agreed to it.
Yep.
So we could be seeing Alexa Grasso versus Zhang Wei Li, which would be an absolutely crazy fight.
It would be a great fight, and it's hard to justify Val getting another shot, which is crazy because she's Valentina Shevchenko. I don't know. That was a weird fight. The scorecards left a horrible taste in my mouth and a horrible spot for the division. So I hope that can get fixed in 2024.
Hopefully, man. The next title fight, Islam Makhachev KOs
Oh,
Alexander Volkanovski on 10
insane.
days' notice. It felt like it was a fairy tale for Volkanovski the whole week. I was on Volkanovski. I thought he was going to win. I was like,
Mhm.
here we go. Fairy tale. Michael Bisping, Luke Rockhold coming in on 10 days' notice in Makhachev's homeland. Gets knocked out with a head kick. That was
Insane, dude.
crazy. I think a lot of people realize how good Islam Makhachev was in that fight. And it's hard to tell where do you go with Islam from here. I think that's my thing, right? You have Charles Oliveira waiting in the wings. I don't know if he necessarily deserves the next shot over someone like I just said Poirier instead of Gaethje again. Gaethje, who just knocked out Poirier, that's what I meant to say, um, for the BMF title, which that's a money fight. You, Gaethje puts his BMF title on the line. One walks out with both titles on the shoulder, UFC belt, but BMF belt. That would be sick, right?
That would be awesome.
Or do you go with a rematch in Arman Sarukian versus Islam Makhachev after Arman just knocked Beneil out cold, did it better than Charles Oliveira, right? That's the kind of thing I'm having in my head.
My opinion, what you got to do, not even what I would do, but what the UFC is going to do is they're going to give Gaethje the next shot, even though he's done it however many times already. He's going to sell the tickets. He's got the BMF belt. He's got the flash. It's Justin Gaethje. He's going to get the next shot. In the meantime, I think you got to do Oliveira and Sarukian for a title eliminator, just because they both coming off a win over Benny. Oliveira before that was on a little down slip, and Armin's amazing. I think he might be the best fight for Islam. I just think he needs to beat another top 5 guy before he can get that title
Mm-hmm.
shot. So that's what I would do.
That's fair. Yeah, that's really fair. I don't know. Also, I think Islam wins all of those fights.
He should. I think Islam's that good. I really do. I didn't think he was before he knocked out Volk like that, but seeing that he can head kick and knock out
He
Alexander
set that up
Volkanovski,
perfectly as well.
it was amazing. It was even Volk was like, "What the hell just happened?" It was crazy.
Yeah. Next one, you were also there. Tom Aspinall knocks out Sergey Pavlovich in a minute with a brutal knockout. I mean,
The Honey
just wow.
Badger.
What a knockout.
Oh yeah, that was nuts because that was one of the fights I set my camera up in the media room and then I snuck out and not snuck out. We have a press box, but I totally went to like the first row just where there are open seats. And I watched that fight with some fans and consensus in the arena, someone's going to sleep. Who's it going to be? And it was almost Aspinall. Aspinall got caught, but he powered through and landed the bigger bombs to win. So that was a crazy fight and that was a loud Madison Square Garden afterwards.
It was a crazy fight. I think a lot of people realize how good Tom Aspinall was. Now, I went to see Tom Aspinall fight in July in London versus Marcin Tybura. And I was just there as a fan. I wasn't there as press. And being, I think, with the English crowd, then I was already high on Aspinall and I knew he was going to win that fight. But the way he put out Tybura, I was like, this guy's really special. I haven't seen a heavyweight move like this. Even Cyril Gane, who I watched a couple months later, he didn't move like Aspinall does. Because Aspinall puts it all together. And walking out of the arena after that fight, everyone was just smiling. Everyone was happy. Everyone was like full of joy. I've never seen something like that. I mean, Paris was also nuts, but walking out of the arena in London, everyone was singing Tom Aspinall's name. Everyone was chanting. Dude, they literally closed the train station to let the first group of people in. We had to stand outside in the rain waiting to get into the train
Damn.
station.
Yeah, Tom Aspinall, he needs to have his I guess his first title defense or unification or whatever it's going to be. It's got to be in London for sure.
Uh, what is going on with that, by the way? Dana White
What
said
the
John Jones versus Stipe is happening. Stop
dude?
being
I
upset
don't I
about it.
don't know what the plan is. I think that's the fight to make Jones versus Stipe, 100%.
Oh
I
yeah, it's a
think
good fight,
the
but
legacy
then
fight.
okay, but then if John Jones retires or Stipe retires after beating one of them, right? And then Tom Aspinall gets promoted then to, I'm guessing he'd be promoted to the undisputed champion, or would he have to then fight for the vacant title, right?
I would hope he just gets promoted.
He gets
Honestly, he
promoted, but
should get
then
it now and
I
Jones should
think
vacate.
that puts a little asterisk. Maybe if John Jones wins that fight, puts a little tiny little asterisk next to his name. Why didn't you fight Tom Aspinall, the guy everyone wants you to see fight, right? Like, obviously, he's the
And
greatest of all time. Don't get me wrong, but like, we
that's
want
why
to
it'll be
see
overlooked. Because people in 5 years will be
we want
like,
to see John Jones take on the next generation. We saw what he did to Cyril Gane. Can he do it to Tom Aspinall?
"Oh, I agree. I'd love to see the fight. I don't think we ever will. I think Dana thinks it's too dangerous. I almost agree. I think Stipe and Jones is a much better fairy tale ending retirement fight for John Jones. But I don't know, man. We'll see. Because John Jones is crazy. Maybe he knocks out Stipe and then he's like, nah, I want Tom Aspinall now.
Maybe so. Um, on the main event on that one, Alex Pereira defeats Yuri Prohaska with elbows, right? He drops him with the pattern left hook. Yuri Prohaska
Hmm.
is in on the shot. Who needs takedown defense when you have elbows, right?
Yep.
He just hammers his temple. Prohaska goes out, right? He is
Yeah,
out
he
when he
flops
falls
back.
back.
Yep.
He wakes up, but Pereira was in mount. Like that fight was done. Anyone saying early stoppage is stupid because that fight was done.
Oh yeah, no, that was a good stoppage. Pereira won that fight, fair and square. What I told people, some people were bitching in the arena. I said, guys, if you're Prohaska, you can't fall back on your back like that and be in a defenseless position for a minute.
His arms were up. See, I can lean back in my chair so I can imitate the
Right.
knockout.
I can't exactly. Yeah. So I said you can't do that. And then they were like, "Well, he was rocked, man. He couldn't help it." And then I said, "Exactly. That's why they stopped the fight, you moron." So, good stoppage all around. People quit bitching.
It was a very good stoppage. The final pay per view of the year. It was just this last weekend. Alexandre Pantoja dominates Brandon Royval.
Mhm.
Now, I did put Royval in my initial picks for cage side, but as the week went on, I was like, Pantoja's gonna win. Um, Pantoja is a very, very, very good fighter. I think he is just now getting the recognition for it. He dominated that one. He played with his food a little bit. I think one thing I've noticed is I think he's the only fighter that can look gassed out but then put a pace on you.
I was just gonna say his gas tank's insane.
But he looks like he's exhausted after like the second round. He looks like even commentators like he looks tired. It's like
And
no,
he
that's
did the
just
same thing in the Moreno fight too.
yeah.
But he's
It's
good.
like
That gas tank keeps ticking.
he's so good, man. He's so good. I wonder what's next for him though. There's not necessarily a clear contender. Don't think anyone really wants to see Brendan Moreno get another shot. Obviously,
Yeah.
they're him and Amir Albazi are fighting for the title eliminator. I don't know, man. I really don't know. Other than that,
I
I
want
mean, Kai Kara
I want
France
Manel
obviously
Cop to get in
lost a
there too.
very controversial decision with Amir Albazi, right? Um,
I didn't think it was controversial.
I thought
I
I
I
thought
scored
Kai
that for
Kara France
Albazi.
won that.
It was
Okay, well, it
close,
was
but
close.
it wasn't one where I was like robbery, robbery.
Mm, I was shocked by it, to be honest.
I don't know. I had money on Albazi too, so I probably
There
had
you
some
go.
bias there.
Um,
But no, I'd like to see Manel Cop get his name in the title picture soon,
that's
man.
one I would love to see. Alexandre Pantoja and Manel fought before. It was a very good fight. Do it again.
I am down. And I think that was Cap's first fight in the UFC, maybe?
I think you might have had one before that.
Maybe a one before that, but it was early into his tenure, so I'd love to see them run that one back.
100%. And the final fight of the year, Leon Edwards defeats Colby Chaos Covington via unanimous decision. I'm a big Colby guy. I really enjoy the way he fights in his prime. You know, the wrestle box style, the cardio, the pace. I really enjoyed that. The persona, it got old for me a little bit. Um, America's champ and the Trump stuff. I don't get political on this, so I'm gonna brush over that. But Colby Covington thought he won that fight, and he still thinks he did. I don't know whether this is the cockiness and the persona and things, but
It's
like
it's the
he didn't win that
character.
fight. He didn't win
No,
that
he
fight
didn't
at
win that
all.
fight. There's no argument for him to win that fight. And I
Well,
like Colby. I think the shtick's hilarious too. And
it can
dude,
be
it's just
really funny, but then sometimes it's like,
well, yeah, it's too far sometimes too. But no, it's over, man. You got dominated by Leon Edwards. You got out wrestled by Leon Edwards. It's over, my guy. It's over. I don't know. I knew
you see, he
Leon was
went
going
on
to do that
Fox
too. I
News.
laid so
You
much
see, he
money.
went on Fox News and said he lost that fight because he supports Trump.
Yeah, but I mean, there's no. That's what I'm saying. There's no way Colby Covington truly believes that. There's
I
no
hope
way.
not.
If
I
you
hope his
do, you're an
coaches have
idiot.
told him as well if he did think he won that in the moment. But his coach was like, dude, you didn't win.
I don't think he thought he won. I think he played his character and knows that's what he has to do to stay relevant.
Also, I don't think MMA Masters is the gym for him. Um,
I don't know
he
where the
seems
gym
to
for him is, man.
he
He's a tough
he's
guy.
I don't know. They've got him in a cautious style. Like remember the first, the second Kamaru Usman fight in Madison Square Garden? He opened the fight the exact same way with a really slow. Everyone's like, "Colby, get going," and then he got dropped twice,
Hmm.
and then he put a pace on, and I thought he won that fight, right?
Yeah, it was much closer than the Leon fight, at least.
This fight, he just never got going,
No, not at all. Maybe a
and
little bit in the fifth round, but not really.
yeah,
A
it's just
fourth
like I
round or something.
wonder. Before when he was at American Top Team, he didn't get like that. He it was like, you can hit me with whatever you want. I'm gonna take you down.
Yep.
Hit me with a head kick. I'm gonna catch that leg and single leg you, right? Like, you know, I don't know what's going on with him. I don't know what's next for him. But on a brighter note, what's next for Leon Edwards, right? Bilal Muhammad
Whatever
is
the hell
chopping
he
up that
wants, man.
he really deserves the shot. Now I think there's no more argument, right? Shavkat
No, it has to be
Rakhmonov
below.
submitting Wonderboy is a very good statement, and I think it confirms he is next, but doesn't mean he's gonna get the shot over Bilal. I think now it's Bilal's time. Give Bilal the title shot. I'm all in on this fight. I'm excited for it. I want to see this rematch. Um, yeah, man. I think. Would you agree? Bilal's next.
Has to be. I mean, I know people don't like Bilal. I know his style isn't always the most exciting, but I mean, you can't deny him anymore. It wouldn't even make sense. It has to be Bilal. The win streak's insane. The people he's beaten, the way he's beaten them is insane. Bilal Muhammad's next for a title shot. Or else I quit. I'm done.
Let's go on to our awards of the year.
Yes, sir.
So we'll start off fighter of the year, male or female, or both, if you have both. Um, for me, fighter of the year is Sean Strickland. Anywhere, any place, right? Opens the year on a short notice fight against Nasruddin Imavov. Then in July, the UFC wants Abus Magomedov to win that fight. Let's be real. They wanted Abus Magomedov to win. They wanted to capitalize on maybe a European Russian fighter, right? The
Hmm.
Magomedov name. He got dominated in both. He dominated both those fights against prospects, and then dominates Israel Adesanya. Like, what a year for him after starting the year or ending last year by losing a split decision to Jared Cannonier and getting knocked out by Alex Guerrero.
Yeah, and I think wasn't Sean the last main event of 2022 as well?
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Yeah,
Or
I don't know.
he lost by a split decision and he started the year as well.
Also my winner for fighter of the year, Sean Strickland. 3-0, all dominant, beat up Izzy, dominant, insane. Really the only person for that award, in my opinion. I think, you could talk about Alexa Grasso getting it, maybe. I think
Mm.
Leon Edwards was impressive this year. If he would have knocked out Usman this year, obviously would have gotten it. Tom Aspinall had a good year, but no, Sean Strickland, fighter of the year, hands down, in my opinion.
Fight of the year for me is Moreno and Pantoja. Need I say more? It was a barn burner from the opening bell. What a fight.
It was a barn burner, but I dig deep on fight of the year, so I have a different answer.
Okay.
And it maybe is because I was there in person, but it was also just a fucking banger. Brad Katona, Cody Gibson for the Tough 31 finale. That was just 3 rounds of
Those
fire,
three
and they were
rounds of
both.
carnage.
It was amazing. So that was a great one. But then also like this could be recency bias, dude. But Rini Aldana and Cara Rosa, that was
That was a great
insane.
fight. Did you
Like,
see the photos of Irene Aldana's leg?
yeah, and them in the hospital afterwards, insane, dude.
Her legs were dark purple, bro.
Yeah, I'm good. That's why I don't fight, man. That's why I talk to him. But no, fight of the year is a hard one though, because like, dude, you have Islam and Volk, you have Moreno and Pantoja, you have Katona and Gibson, Aldana, Rosa, and then Gaethje and Fiziev was this year too, man. Like,
It
great
depends
year for
on what
fights.
kind of fights you like as well. If you look at it from a technical standpoint, Volkanovski Islam's an incredible fight.
Yeah,
If you want carnage, violence, blood, and knockdowns and everything, Moreno Pantoja, Brad Katona, I mean, there's so many
Cody
more
Gibson.
great fights this year.
Yeah, I'm going with Katona and Cody Gibson, but I don't know. I got 5 fights that I would consider all of them to be fight of the year.
KO of the year, as you said, we both have the same one. Gaethje knocking out Poirier with a beautiful head kick.
Hmm.
I mean, beautifully set up, knocking out one of the best lightweights to ever do it for the BMF title. I don't know if there's anything else to say about that knockout, man.
No, dude, especially because he doesn't throw head kicks.
No.
That was everything. And it was out of nowhere. That's easily knockout of the year. But we did mention earlier, anytime a slam happens, I get really excited. So
And
the
two
car
back to back.
close and
Which one
Cody
was better
Brundage,
though?
man.
Which one was better?
I
I'm
can't
going.
say. And it's
I'm
only
going with
because they were back to
close.
back on
I'm
the same
going with the
card.
close one because he was sideways and he.
And the close one was cooler. It was cooler. And it was more bam, he's out. Because there was some follow-up with the Brundage one. But
Yes.
I don't know. They both honorable mention for sure. But yeah, BMF head kick is the winner.
Submission of the year. I went with Shavkat versus Neil. Standing rear naked choke after a crazy back and forth fight. Another candidate for fight of the year, by the way. Crazy back and forth fight. Submits him in the dying seconds. Out cold. Literally chokes him. Neil falls and he walks off. A walk off submission. Right. What a finish, man. What was yours?
John Jones, Lyoto Machida-esque, eh?
100%.
So that was a great one. I think Grasso and Shevchenko was a great one. I think John Jones submitting Cyril Gahn was a great one just because of the stakes involved. But my true winner has to be Damon Blackshear over Jose Johnson, hitting a fucking twister. Got to give it to him, man. Got to give it to the twister.
And twisters are incredible, man. And I remember I was watching that fight, and my parents had some people over, so I watched in the living room, so I had like all the doors closed. I was like, I'm gonna watch the UFC in the living room. Sorry, guys. And I remember I was getting so excited. My dad was going out to barbecue. I was getting so excited. I was like, this is a twister being set up right here, and that was a really awesome, awesome finish.
Yeah, it was great.
UFC 290. Robbie Lawler going out on top is my event of the year. Sorry, I meant to say event of the year.
No
UFC
worries.
290. Robbie Lawler going out on top. Dricus with a massive upset. Lewis's shorts coming off. Fight of the year. And Volk putting a stamp on the featherweight division. And an insane set of prelims as well.
290 was great. Card of the year was hard for me this year because usually there's like a card that really stands out where it's like consensus. Everybody's like, oh my God, that was unbeatable. And there were just like there were a few of them for me this year. So I had to really pick one, and I went with 285. I think 285 top to bottom. It was the best. I mean, you look at the early prelims, Ian Gary headlined that. I mean, that's just stacked. Cody Garbrandt got his first win back. Derek Brunson had a UFC fight. This is still all prelims we're talking. The main card was Bo Nickel, Matus Gamrot, Jalen Turner, Shavkat, Jeff Neal, Shevchenko, Grasso, John Jones for the win over Cyril Gahn. So stacked top to bottom.
Amazing event.
Yeah, my card of the year. But UFC 288 will also always hold a very special place in my card. Just being the first event I ever covered, it was
100%.
surreal. So
Same for me for
285 and
UFC
288.
Paris, man. Same for me
Yeah,
with
man.
UFC Paris.
You get it. Best card ever. Even though it
I've
wasn't that
got
great.
my credentials over there. I've just changed my whole room around, so now my setup's a bit different.
Yeah, mine are sitting somewhere up there, so you can't see them that closely, so I don't get in trouble. But yeah,
Yeah.
great cards, man. Good year of fights.
My credentials have my middle name on them. I don't know if did you get that as well?
I don't think so. I don't think I put my middle name down when I applied.
I didn't know I did. I completely forgot that I did it, and
What's your
so I
middle
get.
name?
I'm not gonna say publicly because that's. I'll tell you off there.
Try something like all British, like Cornelius or something. Patrick Cornelius McCory.
So I get to the press table and I'm like, Patrick McCarry, cage side press. The guy's like studying the whole like this was at the event, right? He's going through the list. He probably turns over like 10 sheets of paper. He's like, I don't see you on this list. I'm like, okay, go for it. Like with M, right? Look for my last name. He's looking. My last name also starts with N, right? So he finally spots it, and I'm with like a bunch of the other journalists. Like Oscar Willis had just already gone in. There's a bunch of other journalists still around me, and he says my middle name, and I was like, "Damn it, that's the name I'm on every UFC sheet with."
You say it starts with an M?
Yeah. Okay, you can have one guess.
Maximilius.
No, sorry, buddy.
Sorry,
I'll tell you off there.
Right.
Comeback of the year. I went with Israel Adesanya versus Pereira. Backed up against the cage after losing to Alex Pereira so many times, again losing this fight, backed up against the cage, clearly hurt, lands one hell of a bomb on his chin. We talked about it before. I think I think that's comeback of the year from you. What's yours?
I got two, and I'll pick one while I talk about them because I haven't picked one yet. But first one, a little more recent, Sadiq Yusuf and Edson Barboza. Sadiq Yusuf almost finishes Barboza in the first round, and then Barboza comes back and fights a 40 to 35 or 36 fight for the remainder of the fight. I mean, it was I don't know I don't know how old Barboza is, 37, 38. That old, getting clipped and almost finished in the first, coming back and fighting through to beat Sadiq Yusuf in dominant fashion. Insane, impressive, and it also hurt my wallet. So thank you very much, Edson Barbosa. Um, and then also this one hits a little close to home, and I don't really want to publicly talk about it, but it was that insane a comeback. I have to. Carlston Harris over Jeremiah Wells, man. Jeremiah Wells went in there and absolutely dominated the first two rounds. Everyone was like, oh my God, Carlston Harris should not have been a minus 120 favorite or whatever he was. And then out of nowhere, Carlston Harris locks up a ninja choke from the bottom, I believe, and put Jeremiah Wells' lights out first. I think it was his first UFC loss too. I don't know. That was a crazy one. Carlston Harris and Edson Barboza, but I think just because of the name value, Edson Barboza is going to take that one over Sadiq Yusuf.
100% fair. Rookie of the year or newcomer of the year, I think we both agree.
Yeah.
Diego Lopez captured the fans' heart with a short notice war, proved his worth by finishing two incredible prospects in Tucker and Sabatini. I know Sabatini is a friend of yours, but
Hey man, he is, but hell, Diego Lopez is a fucking beast, and even Pat
Diego
knows that.
Lopez. Also, we have to say both those finishes were in the first round as well.
Oh yeah, and who did he hit with the triangle? Was that Tucker?
Tucker.
Yeah, that was insane too, because Tucker got the game plan down, took him down, and Diego was like, patience, 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 triangle. It's crazy. Yeah, Diego Lopez is a
I think it was a
beast.
triangle armbar. I think he.
Yeah. He switched over to the arm and everything. It was just the fact that he went in there on short notice against Mosfar Evliov and fought a war like that. And I don't know. I'm sure on some people's scorecards somewhere I had him winning.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I
Diego
knew. I was like,
Lopez's
oh, this
mother.
guy's
That's
gonna be
who had him
special.
winning.
Yeah, for for sure. But no, he's gonna be special, man. And rookie of the year, 100%. Bo Nickel we talked about too, but the name value is just not the same. Bo Nickel didn't beat a Pat Sabatini or take on Evliov on short notice. Diego Lopez did. So Diego Lopez got a bright future.
100%. And upset of the year. I don't. Did I text you upset?
No, you didn't, but I can probably
I
gonna be
think we.
Strickland off the top of my head.
Really?
Is
Okay.
there a bigger one
Well,
that I'm forgetting?
Dricus over Rob. Just for the
Oh yeah, that's
finishing
insane.
Robert Whitaker is so crazy, man. Like finishing him, and also not just finish him. He dominated that fight. He had Whitaker like confused, man. Like that was really impressive.
That was nuts. And like you said, just because of how dominant it was, like I could have seen him getting randomly clipped or something, but Drake has controlled the entire thing. So that was nuts. But yeah, Sean Strickland too over Izzy. I just
Oh yeah, it's up
both
there.
of those fights, I was like, there's
Alexa
no
Grasso Valentina is also up there.
yeah. And PFL had some crazy. I know it's the UFC, but PFL had some crazy upsets this year too. Who was the guy that beat Brendan Logan? What was his name?
Pinedo, he went on to win the whole show.
Yeah, he won the whole thing, dude. That because Pinedo had another
Because he
upset
also
too. That
he also knocked out Bubba Jenkins.
yes, that Pinedo, hey, he's not UFC, but he deserves a little shout out on the show because
Oh,
he's been
shout
making
out
upsets
Jesus
all year.
Pinedo. Much love, brother.
Got you, bro.
Do you have anything else to say? Those are our end of year awards.
Fighter of the
Anything
year,
else to
fighter of the
say?
year, comeback, event, rookie, knockout, sub. Yeah, we covered it all, man. Good year of fights.
It was a great year of fights. I'm very excited for the next one. Tell the people where can they find you, social media, who do you work for, the whole shebang. Where can the people
I work
see your work?
I work for the beautiful Cage Side Press and the Scrap News, covering MMA events and promoting fighters like they deserve. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter at Jake Noecker. I think on Twitter or X or whatever it's called, I'm at Jake Noecker. MMA, it's JAKENOECKER. But I know Patrick will put that somewhere. But yeah, I don't know. Give me a follow if you like MMA stuff, if you like interviews with fighters, some articles, some hot takes, and Looking to cover more UFC events in 2024, starting in Atlantic City. But
Let's
Patrick,
go.
my man, thank you for having me on, man. Happy
Anytime.
belated birthday. I know you had a big birthday yesterday, so
Thank you,
always good
brother.
to talk to you, bro.
Appreciate it. So it was great to talk to you, man. Take care.